Where was the unit, sir? Where was 13 Jackrif when you initially came to know that there has been a problem?
11th of June, we were placed under command 56th Mountain Brigade to be reserved to 2 Rajgiri for the capture of Tololing.
Sir.
12th of June, we moved to Dras.
Sir.
At 13th night, I was sitting on top of Tololing.
A unit that was known as a Tagdi unit, Tagdi Paltan, suddenly becomes a legend.
The Pakistanis would throw grenades. Our boys, would pick up those grenades or catch those grenades and throw them back. But that requires courage. That requires, gurda. उसके लिए दिल चाहिए करने के लिए.
Kargil happened along LOC, sir. That is one part. Now, line of actual control, sir. What do you think were the challenges then, and what do you think are the challenges now, sir?
It was agreed that we will maintain, peace and tranquility,
yes,
not
sir.
change the status quo on the borders, and for that, a large number of agreements were signed. Now, what the Chinese did in 2020, what the PLA did, they mobilized a large amount of force and tried to occupy areas which they claimed but had no control. And of course, we did what we did when we mobilized our forces and did the quid pro quo actions and, surprised them actually in a lightning maneuver in all those areas.
Sir.
Got him back to the negotiating table and, made him disengage from all these areas. The trust factor has been lost post what the Chinese PLA did in 2020.
About Captain Vikram Batra, sir. What exactly happened, sir? Hello friends, I'm Gaurav Arya and you're watching GAP, the Gaurav Arya Podcast. There has been a lot of demand to have today's guest on our show. I requested him, he was very kind. We had a lot of questions. I thought when I meet the guest, I must ask him a whole lot of questions. I asked my team, what should I do? I need answers to these questions. And they gave me a line that is echoed through the Kargil War. And that line is, if you want to know, ask Joe. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi, former Northern Army Commander, to the Gaurav Arya Podcast. Sir, Jai Hind and a very warm welcome, sir.
Jai Hind, Gaurav. Pleasure to be here on your show.
And sir, this is the third time I'm interviewing you, talking to you, sir. Twice before, sir, when you were GOC, sir, GOC 14, sir. Then and Northern Army Commander, sir, and now. And both the times earlier, sir, we were in Leh. In Ladakh, so that's because even as Northern Army Commander, you had come for some work to Leh, sir. That is where I interviewed you.
So half my life I spent in Leh, Gaurav, you're aware of that. And it's always a pleasure interacting with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Privilege is ours, sir. So the first question, sir, this book which has come out, sir. Marvelous book, that is what I hear. Ladies and gentlemen, this book, Who Dares Wins, is the life story of General Joshi. Sir, right from birth, NDA, Kilo Squadron, sir?
Yeah, Kilo Squadron.
Right from Kilo Squadron and everything, sir, about your life. Now, I have a few questions, sir, because while you have held among the highest position in the armed forces that someone can aspire to, sir, you're an army commander, but your name is associated with the Kargil War. And I think I would not be doing justice to my audience if I did not start with the Kargil War, because that is what you're known for, sir. You got a Vir Chakra. And of course, you've commanded the only battalion across all arms that has got 2 Paramveer Chakras in one war. Pune Horse got it, sir, but that was 65 and 71. You got both, sir, Rifleman Sanjay Kumar, and of course, the legendary Vikram Batra. I wanted to ask you, sir, Paltan kahan thi jab aapko pehle pata laga? Where was the unit, sir? Where was 13 Jackrif when you initially came to know that there has been a problem?
So the battalion, Gaurav, that time was in Sopor.
Sir.
And it was doing the counter-terrorist operations there.
Sir.
And we had finished about 2 years tenure, and the unit was to move out.
To peace, sir?
To peace station. And the peace station that was selected for us or nominated was Shahjahanpur. And I, as the second in command, was already sitting in Shahjahanpur with the advance party, and doing the hunting over there when things went bad back in the area of Kargil. And as you're aware, 8 Mountain Div was mobilized from the valley across the Zojala to take care of operations in the area of Mashko and Dras.
Sure.
And my battalion, part of 8 Mountain Div, that time 56th Mountain Brigade as well, also had to move. So the advance party was overnight, brought to Chandigarh, airlifted in IL, and we joined the battalion back across Zojala in a place called Gumri. And that's where it all started.
You were in Shahjahanpur at that point in time, sir, with the advance party. And obviously there was some sort of... So your biggest challenge in Shahjahanpur was, sector stores and these stores and handing over and taking over. Jo bhi hota hai sir, Fauj mein.
Correct.
And you would be having your own small little team and you're there part of the advance party, sir.
Correct.
Unit is waiting and suddenly... Call aaya tha, kya hua tha, sir?
Yeah, actually, it's a long story.
Sir.
That I was part of the reserve division of the army headquarters,
Sir.
and that division was mobilized first. So I, as the OC advance party, was made the rear party there to look after Shahjahanpur, and the formation from there mobilized. The moment I saw them off, actually, in the CHTs, they were moving up.
Sure.
I came back to my office, and there I got a phone call, from the staff saying that you also pack up your stuff, everything, move to Chandigarh, you will be airlifted from there, and you will join the battalion back. So that's how it happened, actually.
And the battalion moved up from Sopore, sir?
The battalion moved up from Sopore, and the battalion reached Gumri on the 5th of June.
Sir.
I joined the battalion back,
Sure.
across Zojala on the 10th of June.
So Gumri was like the battalion headquarters, or what was Gumri, sir?
The Gumri was a place where all the entire 8 mountain div was concentrating. There's just a huge bowl across the Zojala Pass.
So everybody marrying up there only, sir?
Everybody was marrying up there, carrying out acclimatization, taking stock of their weapons, equipment, ammunition, logistics, and
Sir,
preparing for the impending task that time. So that is where my battalion concentrated on 10th of June. And things happened so fast after that.
Sir.
11th of June, we were placed under command 56th Mountain Brigade to be reserved to 2 Rajri for the capture of Toroling.
Sir.
12th of June, we moved to Dras.
Sir.
And 13th night, I was sitting on top of Toroling. That's how
Suddenly
fast it
everything
happened.
changed, sir?
Suddenly everything changed when I was sitting on top of Toroling on the night of 14th,
Sir.
13th, 14th night, amidst heavy artillery shelling, machine gun fire from .5140, which is not yet captured. I thought it's a nightmare.
Obviously, sir.
With artillery shells exploding left and right and airbursts happening on top of us. And I was thinking that, somebody is going to just wake me up and I'll be back in Shahjahanpur, in the swimming pool and playing tennis and the open air theatre there, which I was sort of looking after as OC rear. And, that's how things happened so fast. Very challenging situation.
From watching movies in the open air theatre to actually, sir,
4th day.
becoming part of a movie, sir.
Exactly.
There was this very prominent role in LOC Kargil, sir, where Sanjay Dutt played your character, which you were in real life, sir.
Correct.
So, basically, you're saying that, sir, there was no time to actually acclimatize as per army orders, that itne din ka hota hai, above 9,000 feet, above super high altitude, etc. You didn't get that time. There was no luxury of that, sir.
Yeah, so we didn't have the luxury. The situation so demanded,
Sir.
that the intruders had to be removed at the earliest.
Sir.
So while the battalion got some time, but the advance party we joined on the 10th of June, I just got about 1 day's. The advance party got 1 day's time to do whatever little acclimatization we could do against the laid down 644 at stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
Stage 3, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
No 644 nahi tha, sir.
644 तो मौका ही नहीं मिला. 1 day.
Carry on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, that was the first war, sir. I mean, after 1971. There have been skirmishes, there have been actions along the line of control, sir. With Pakistan, there has been shelling. But Kargil was a proper war, sir. And while everybody, especially the people who have not worn the uniform, they tend to glamorize and, romanticize war. But you've seen a lot of bloodshed, sir. You've lost very good men. And that always cuts very deep, so that nobody can forget that. Especially when you're commanding, sir. So you're in charge, sir. The commanding officer is the father of the battalion, and they are your children, and you're responsible for your children, sir. A lot of people have spoken about, sir, Captain Batra, sir, Vikram Batra, sir. And I spoke to, sir, Brigadier Bajwa, who's the...
Brigadier MPS Bajwa, he
Yes,
commanded Tiger Hill Brigade.
Sir.
Yeah.
And literally, sir, he had tears in his eyes when he was speaking about Vikram Batra, and he said ki sher bacha hai wo, sher bacha tha. He fought like a lion. And it was very this thing. And you have seen that up close and personal, sir. And I'd also like to tell you, sir, when I speak to Sanjay Saab, sir, once in a while, when I meet him here, sir, so I always tell him ki saab ek bar gale lago, mera na 5 liter khoon badh jata hai.
Absolutely.
So
Very brave soldiers.
No, sir, amazing. And in times of peace, you would never imagine, sir. My question to you here is that, do you ever feel that, soft-spoken people, sir, so soft-spoken, sir, that, बड़े आराम से प्यार से बात करने वाले लोग, and suddenly when the nation needs them, they turn into these lions, they turn into these warriors and accomplish feats of courage and bravery that are very difficult to comprehend. I have worn the uniform, sir. And when I read the story of Captain Vikram Batra, even after having worn the uniform, it's very difficult for me to comprehend why he did what he did. What are the motivations? Hua kya tha, sir? How did you manage to motivate the unit, sir? Motivated to rehti infantry patrol, but to tell them.
So, 13 Chakrif has Dogra troops.
Sir.
And like you said, Dogra troops are shy.
Sir.
They are not very outspoken.
Yes, sir.
But when it comes to courage and bravery, they are right there up front. And, being an infantry battalion, your nature becomes what your troops' nature is actually.
Yes, yes.
We stay day and night
Sure.
with them. But my advantage was that I was commissioned into 13 Chakrif. My regimental service is in 13 Chakrif, other than of course the staff that I went out, and I commanded 13 Chakrif. So that team 13 Chakrif which was there, पूरी पलटन का हर एक जवान मुझे जानता था, मेरी काबिलियत को जानता था, और मैं about 80% जवानों को by name जानता था, and I knew that who will deliver at what place. So that trust between the team on the leader and the leader in his team makes a lot of difference. You're
born in the unit, sir.
You are born in the unit and you have rubbed shoulders throughout your life and trained with them.
Yes, sir.
और मेरा जो bring up भी है, अगर आप book पढ़ेंगे तो I come from a family, I'm the only son with 4 sisters.
Sir.
No army background. My turning point was when I joined the battalion. नागालैंड में मैंने 92 में ज्वाइन किया, तो माई CO कर्नल जम्वाल, ही वॉज वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. उन्होंने जो है मेरा एक्चुअली ही वॉज अ टर्निंग पॉइंट ऑफ माई करियर इन द आर्मी. एंड उन्होंने मेरे को जवानों के साथ रखा. आई टू स्टे विद द बॉयज़, ईट विद देम, ट्रेन विद देम. मैंने जाते ही पलटन में उम्मीदवार का ऑर्डर किया, जो कि राइफलमैन से लांस नायक
का सर
2 months. एंड ये उम्मीदवार कार्डर में मैं उनके साथ वेपन ट्रेनिंग करता था, उनके साथ लंगर में खाना खाता था, उनके साथ रहता था, उनके साथ ड्रिल करता था, पीटी करता था. तो
ड्यूटी लगती थी सर? हैं? ड्यूटी लगी सर?
ड्यूटी लगी. वहाँ तो नागालैंड में वी हैड पोस्ट, वी टू डू गार्ड ड्यूटी. थम कौन आता है, संतरी, एवरीथिंग, ऑल दोस ड्रिल्स.
पहचान के लिए आगे बढ़.
सो ये सारा जो था ड्रिल्स वर इनग्रेन्ड. माई बेसिक्स वर वेरी वेरी क्लियर in the battalion. And for me also, it was a matter of self-respect. I had to prove to the jawans. जब आप जवानों के साथ हो, NDIM is a different thing. You are between peers. But यहाँ मैं जवानों के साथ था, and they were watching me very closely. So my, everything improved. My professionalism improved. And that basic, जो base मेरा जो बना, that carried me throughout. First time I went for a course, I did extremely well. I got alpha in my bios.
Sure.
And that was a turning point. Then there was no looking back after that. So credit goes to the bring up in the battalion and to my CO and the senior officers who were there at that time.
And those COs were also different, sir.
They were different. They were absolutely.
Even company commanders were different, sir.
No, very
Kurat type, yes. Sir. My unit, sir, company commanders, they're like mini COs, sir.
Exactly.
Dare not go in front of a company commander. CO तो दिखता ही नहीं था, sir. हमें तो CO we saw once in a while, sir.
Correct.
So, अच्छा sir. So, Paltan goes into operation, sir. You're commanding. And then there would be a point in time, sir. There would be a point in time where you would have got the first information that we have lost a boy. एक वो उसके पहले peace time, sir, everything, looking forward, great. Then अच्छा sir, receiving this news, I don't know what happened in Sopor, sir, but receiving this news as a 2IC is a little different than receiving the news as the quote-unquote old man of the battalion, as they say, sir. What was that, sir?
So those were very challenging times and very difficult times. We lost 2 boys in the initial, Rakesh and Harish, when we were moving from Tololing to the next feature, जो कि Rocky Knob और Hump Complex था. Partially 18 grenadiers ने capture किया, बाकी हमने capture किया. And I was a little distant that time. But the first most shocking news was when I was sitting on top of Tololing and I came to know that Ajay Jasrotia,
sure,
he died in arty shelling in Dras. He was busy evacuating casualties and he got injured, but he refused to get evacuated. Major Rajiv Kapoor was there with him. He was trying to push him, but he was saying, "Nahi sir, inko pehle nikalna hai." And he laid down his life. When I got that news sitting on top of Tololing, it was shocking news for me. And, I actually, had tears in my eyes, and my IO, Lieutenant Chatterjee that time sitting right in front of me. He said, "Sir, you can't have tears in your eyes. You are the CO." I've mentioned this in the book, but my respect for Chatterjee, grew manyfold. That look at the maturity of this youngster. That he's very diplomatically trying to tell his CO that you can't have tears in your eyes.
Because that is the expectation from the CO, sir.
Exactly.
But CO के साथ भी एक problem होती है, sir. Who do you tell? Chatterjee can go and talk to his
you are very
Postmates or
lonely at
everybody,
the top.
sir.
At all levels, you are very lonely.
Infantry
at the top.
battalion COs are the buck stops with you.
Absolutely.
वही है.
Absolutely.
So, sir, then you came to know about the first casualties and all that, sir. And then what was the task, sir? From Tololing where, sir?
So after Tololing, partially there was the hump complex.
Yes, sir.
Which half of it, 18 grenadiers already captured, and then we captured the balance of the hump complex. This hump complex was a feature. From Tololing you have to come down, and there's a big feature which was full of boulders, big boulders, and each boulder was like a sangad for the Pakistani soldiers. The
Yes,
snipers were sitting behind these, and they could stop a battalion attack. So they were continuously inflicting casualties on us. And that is the time we launched Alpha Company. Major Bhaskar was the company commander. And he initially did not succeed, but then we, in war, you have to innovate, think on your feet at all times. So we were firing rocket launchers on these big, boulders. It had no effect. The round, HE round would just go and hit and explode and would do no damage because the boulders were really big. Then we tried to fire a rocket launcher, HE in the airburst mode.
Airburst mode, sir.
Because they did not have overhead protection.
Sir.
So वो हमने किया, that also did not succeed. Because we were firing uphill and we had no idea of, whether we are hitting the right place or not. Then I even tried, a Igla missile.
Sir.
In the ground roll. We fired a illumination round onto that rocky knob where the Pakistani bunker was there.
You fired an Igla on the ground?
Exactly. That is where innovation comes in. So it's a heat-seeking missile,
sir,
which locks on to a heat source and then it destroys a chopper or an aircraft. That is what it is meant for. But on
sir,
that bunker,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'd heard about General Lakhvinder, sir, at that time, Brigadier Lakhvinder, figuring out that कि जी हमने बहुत फायर करनी है. इगला के बारे में नहीं पता था सर मुझे.
हाँ, so ये तो हमने अपने लोकल लेवल पे किया था.
अच्छा सर.
तोलोलिंग पे वो मैंने देखा इगला पड़ी है, मैंने कहा let's use this, we have to try something.
Yes sir.
तो हमने एक RL का illumination round ग्राउंड बर्स्ट में फायर किया.
सर
2-3 राउंड फायर किया. फाइनली एक हमको मिला, मतलब इट गॉट द राइट प्लेस एंड इट वाज बर्निंग ऑन द बंकर. वहाँ जहाँ उसने हिट किया और उसको मैंने बोला इगला को फायर कर. आई हैड नेवर फायर्ड इगला, नो हैड एनी आइडिया. तो जब उसने इगला फायर ट्रिगर दबाया, इट टेक्स अ फ्यू सेकंड्स टू लॉक टू द हीट सोर्स.
यस सर.
वो साउंड करता है. आई स्टिल रिमेंबर वेरी क्लियरली, आई वाज सिटिंग नेक्स्ट टू हिम. बट जब तक वो लॉक हुआ वो बुझ गया.
सर
द इल्यूमिनेशन राउंड बुझ गया.
सर
So then we have to destroy, because it then launches after it locks on. It didn't launch. So we had to destroy that. We tried Milan missiles to destroy. Milan got grounded halfway. Didn't reach there because of the altitude, and Milan is a little heavier missile.
Sure, sir.
So that also didn't work. And finally what worked is what you just mentioned, the artillery before in the direct firing role, which I spoke to the brigade commander, Brigadier Amar Raul.
Sure.
And he, along with that time Brigadier Lakhvinder,
Sir.
who was the commander RT brigade,
Sure.
they got one gun.
Sir.
Because when you're firing the direct roll, you have to have that line of sight. We are in the mountains.
Yes, sir.
तो उन्होंने सारा दिन रेकी किया. फिर एक गन को उन्होंने they said कि okay, this is where the gun is, and he put me through to the gun.
Sir.
And I controlled that gun sitting at Tololing.
Sure.
And second or third round we got on that bunker.
Sure.
We destroyed that bunker. It was just blown to smithereens.
Sure.
Just we needed one round on that where the Pakistani was sitting and firing onto us. And then we launched a day attack on 17th. Alpha Company captured that entire area of Rocky Knob and Hump. That was the first victory.
Sir.
And after that, the boys were, up and about.
Totally judged.
We can also do it.
Yes, sir.
And then the morale of the battalion really, skyrocketed.
Sir. About Captain Vikram Batra, sir. What exactly happened, sir?
You were looking at 4875?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after this operation, we captured 5140, and that is where Vikram Batra gave that success signal, ye dil mange more.
Dil mange more,
when
yes,
he captured his portion of 5140, and that was again a second big success. Difficult objective because it was very, very high, overlooking the Hump, Rocky Knob, overlooking Tololing, overlooking Dras, and about 30-40 kilometers of national highway. And 5140 was the place from where they fired, a Stinger missile and shot down one of our Air Force helicopters,
Sure.
in Tolling. The second task that was given to us was the capture of point 4875 as part of 79 Brigade. And we were tasked to capture the top. And 17 Chakra was given an objective to the left, area called Whaleback and Pimple, part of 4875. And in phase 2, Naga was to go and capture area called Twin Bombs, which was between 4875 and Tiger Hill.
Sure.
We launched the attack on the 4th. Now here, the gradient was very, very steep. Much steeper than, the early attacks that we had done.
Sure.
The movement was slow. We got daylighted. And when we got daylighted, Charlie Company and Alpha Company, Major Gurpreet and Major Bhaskar, they were in close proximity. And now, the enemy was inflicting heavy casualties onto our troops because it was day and he was sitting on top. So Gurpreet spoke to me. This is that bunker which we talked about earlier during our reconnaissance. और यहाँ से दुश्मन का accurate fire आ रहा है, कुछ करो. So I was in the fire base. तो मैंने देखा, then I realized I can't get artillery fire. Troops are very close. We will inflict friendly fire.
Own casualties, sir.
Own casualties will be there.
Yes, sir.
Then I saw a faggot launcher lying there, and I have been an instructor in faggot in the anti-tank group as a captain.
Sir.
So, and I knew exactly the place where Gurpreet was talking about.
Yes, sir.
तो मैं एकदम से वहीं पे, it was an impulsive thing. मैं लेट गया लॉन्चर के पीछे, मैंने कौशल था. नंबर 2 मैंने बोला लोड करो faggot. And I had no hope in hell कि ये जाके लगेगा, because we had tried Milan earlier in Tololing, which had not worked. And यहाँ पर the gradient was like this.
Sir.
So, but I said we had to try something. Again, innovation, thinking on the feet. And I aimed and I fired. And the missile went and hit exactly on the bunker at a steep gradient.
Sir.
Very surprising.
Sir.
And then we got a feedback from 17 Jat, which was on the flank. They could see from there that the Pakistanis are running. मैंने एक और मिसाइल लगाया, फायर किया, सेम अगेन वेंट हिट सेम स्पॉट. वी गॉट अगेन द सेम फीडबैक. आई टोल्ड गुरप्रीत कि द एनिमी इज इंजर्ड, देयर हैज बीन अ लॉट ऑफ फ्लरी देयर, मूवमेंट बिहाइंड, रनिंग अवे. मैं दिस इज द टाइम, दिस वाज डे टाइम on the 5th of July. 4th we launched the attack.
Sure.
And that is the time Gurpreet told the leading platoon, Subedar Ramesh, and the leading section was, in which Sanjay and one rifleman Natinder were there, and they are the ones who launched the attack. And Sanjay got shot up in the bargain,
Sure.
in his arm and his thigh, but he pulled out the machine gun of the enemy, and he, using that, fired into the other sangar which was there, killing a couple of Pakistani soldiers. And this action earned him his Vir Chakra. So on the 5th
When I
of
asked
July,
him about the action, sir, he's almost shy, sir. He doesn't.
Yes.
He's like, nahi, aise.
yeah, so Dogra troops are very shy.
Yes, sir. मैंने बोला साहब आपने परमवीर चक्र, मतलब you see, to shake hands with the PVC itself is such a huge honor, sir. And he's saying, nahi sahab. And you know what he told me? मैंने बोला संजय साहब कैसे? Sir, he said कि नहीं साहब, मेरी जगह कोई और फौजी होता तो यही काम करता.
Correct.
And I said, well, this is humility for you, sir.
Absolutely.
Sir.
Absolutely. So when we reached the top,
जी.
during the day on the 5th of July, Charlie और Alpha Company सब ऊपर पहुंच गए.
Sir.
And we thought कि we had captured 4875. But when we reached the top, we realized that 4875 से एक बहुत ही narrow ledge, was going a little away, about 40-50 meters. And there, there was a mouth of that ledge, 2 boulders, उसके बीच में वो MMG लगा के और स्नाइपर लगा के पाकिस्तानी बैठा हुआ था. And this ledge, there was no way we could circumvent it. But it was very close. But you do any movement, he would open fire. So we were stuck there, 5th and 6th, 2 days. और इतनी proximity में कि हम एक दूसरे से बात कर पा रहे थे, गालियाँ दे पा रहे थे एक दूसरे को. और यहाँ पर आपने LOC मूवी वो देखी होगी, कारगिल, LOC कारगिल, उसमें which is a fact actually, he said के साथ ही हमको माधुरी दीक्षित दे दो, हम वापस चले जाएंगे. And of course he got a lot of abuses there. And Gaurav, I must tell you, there were situations because we were so close,
Sir.
that the Pakistanis would throw grenades. Our boys, would pick up those grenades or catch those grenades and throw them back. Because, there's a 4-second fuse.
Yes, sir.
So we were so close that, within 2 seconds the grenade would be with us, and we should lob it back so that it should, explode finally in their hands or close to the Pakistanis. But that requires courage. That requires, गुर्दा, उसके लिए दिल चाहिए करने के लिए.
बहुत ज़्यादा.
और पाकिस्तानीज़ को क्या करना चाहिए था कि they should have actually let the lever go.
Yes, and waited.
Count 2.
अच्छा, सिखलाई भी वही है ना सर?
हाँ.
1001, 1002, something like that.
And
sir.
then throw.
हाँ सर.
पर उसके लिए भी गुर्दा चाहिए. उसके पहले ना फट जाए. but they were just throwing. So these are the kind of
Nikal ke
troops.
phega, sir.
Correct. So these are the kind of troops we have.
Sir.
But what happened on the 7th of July early morning, नवीन who was जो सबसे नज़दीक था उस ledge के,
Sir.
तो पाकिस्तानियों ने एक RPG फायर किया, वो उसके नज़दीक फटा and he got very badly injured. And Vikram Batra, took a patrol along with Subedar Raghunath and उसको evacuate किया वहाँ से.
Sir.
And as I can now visualize, in hindsight, कि Vikram Batra, when he reached there and he evacuated Naveen, so he would have thought, the battalion is stuck here for 2 days, we are not making any progress. And on an impulse, he had his weapon, obviously.
Sir.
He just assaulted. He just assaulted across the ledge, firing his AK, killing the Pakistani, because they were also, taken by surprise all of a sudden. He killed them, they also fired, and he got a bullet here. And he laid down his life, on that ledge. And, but he gave us a foothold,
Sir.
to launch an assault. And the Delta and Charlie company, which was there in close proximity, the moment people came to know that, Vikram Batra has been shot, there was no controlling them actually. Immediately they consolidated and we launched the attack across. And on the 7th of morning, in broad daylight, we captured the ledge, we captured the entire point 4875.
There was a great deal of anger also, sir, at that point in time.
Too much of anger. Obviously, the troops were, you couldn't control the troops actually.
Sir.
And, the Pakistanis were so surprised right across that there was a guy who was making chai and halwa on a stove early morning. And that's how he was shot, and the balance, some got killed and some ran away on the other side.
Sir. So, sir, then this action gets completed and 13 Jagrif does a monumental job. जैसा मैं आपसे बात कर रहा था, sir. A unit that was known as a Tagdi unit, Tagdi Paltan, suddenly becomes a legend. Because ऐसा कभी इंडियन आर्मी में हुआ नहीं कि एक यूनिट में, एक एक्शन में दो परमवीर चक्र. It's never been done. And frankly, this is something, sir, which is so, beyond the realm of possibility. That kabhi hoga, replicate nahi hoga, I don't know. Nobody knows that, sir. But this is truly unique. So, once the Kargil War was over, sir, then what happened, sir? You went back to Saharanpur or where? They were de-inducted?
So, once the Kargil War was over, we went back to somewhere near Uri.
Acha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we went back there and we consolidated, took stock of things, our casualties and, weapons, equipment, logistics and all that. And we stayed there for a month or two. And then we went, our peace station was changed, probably somebody sitting in the army headquarters thought that, now, because when we were at Uri, that is the time the awards were announced on the 15th of August.
Sure.
26th July, Kargil was terminated and we were there in the month of August in the place in Uri. And that is when the awards were announced. And so our peacetime location was changed from Shahjahanpur to Lucknow. So the unit, de-inducted to Lucknow, and that is where we sort of had a peace station. Of course, Parakram happened, and the battalion again mobilized. But I must also tell you that, we mobilized and we were in the deserts. And that's the time I'm trying to tell you कि कैसे जवान है हमारे. Boys used to come to me, I was commanding, कि साहब उस वक्त चार्ली कंपनी ने ये किया या ब्रावो कंपनी ने किया, इस बार आपने अल्फा कंपनी को हम असॉल्टिंग कंपनी होंगे,
मौका देना है आपने.
आपने हमको मौका देना है. अब ये आपने वो भाईबंदी नहीं करनी है किसी के साथ. तो आई एम डेल्टा कंपनी, आई कमांडेड डेल्टा कंपनी, सो दैट एफिलिएशन इज आउट.
अरे वो तो सर एवरीबॉडी से अच्छा.
अभी आपने हमको मौका देना है.
अल्फा जाएगी, अटैक करेगी.
So that is the kind of troops that we have.
Sure.
Also, when we were, de-inducting and we were at Uri, so I, along with my wife and the Subedar Major, took permission from the command headquarters, and we went to each and every house of the martyrs, of the soldiers, of the officers who had laid down their lives.
Sure.
I went to Ajay Chesrute's house, Vikram Batra's house, and except one, Abdul Nazar, who was in Kerala, I couldn't go there. But the others, with my wife and my Subedar Major, visited all the families, to pay our respects and offer condolences and to tell them the story of bravery that they had done for the battalion, for the name of the battalion, and the history that they had created.
Sir. So, now this is about Kargil, sir. And, but now, sir, after that, things after Parakram, again, things cooled down a little bit. Parakram was for a year almost, it was a huge thing, sir. Then things cooled down after Parakram, and then, you also progressed in the army, and then one day, sir, I want to know, sir, when you came to know that you were going as Northern Army commander. Where were you at that point in time? Certainly not in Udhampur, sir. Certainly not.
Yeah.
You would have been somewhere else, sir.
No, actually, I was in Udhampur in the sense that, I commanded 14 Corps in Ladakh.
Sir.
And of course, I mean, you're aware that, as a brigade commander, I was in Ladakh.
Sir.
Commanded Tangse Chushul Brigade.
Yes, sir.
As the GOC of a division, I was in Ladakh again, commanded the Karu Trishul division, and I commanded the 14 Corps.
Yes, sir.
And then I went as the Chief of Staff of Northern Command in Udhampur.
Sir.
For about a couple of months, I was the Chief of Staff, and that is the time when
You came to know, sir.
I came to know that I will be I was nominated as the Northern Army Commander by the Chief.
How did you come to know, sir? This is what I want to know. Achha, this is again a very unique. This is so beautiful, sir. You were Chief of Staff, Northern Command, and suddenly one day, sir, from here your office changes to that, sir.
Yeah.
So then you become the Army
Absolutely.
Commander.
So it's a matter of pride,
sir.
Being Northern Army Commander. In my earlier tenures in JNK as a youngster, as a Captain Major, whenever we used to come down in convoys, and when we used to, pass Udhampur in the convoy and look up at Tara Mount, where the Army Commander stays,
sir.
We used to be in awe. I still remember that feeling, looking at Tara Mount, passing in the convoy, that the Army Commander stays here, we used to be little worried, I would say, that Army Commander bulana le, we used to be like gods.
Sir.
And now being nominated as a Northern Army Commander, looking after entire Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, was a matter of great pride for me, for my battalion, for the entire regiment actually.
एक point of view होता है ना sir, when you're a company commander, like for example me, sir, company commander, हमें रामबन में खाना बड़ा अच्छा मिलता है.
No, you're right. I remember those days. Very good food in Ramban Transit Camp. So many times I've had
yes, the focus was Ramban में खाना अच्छा मिलता है, sir.
Correct.
So sir, we didn't know anything, sir. We didn't know any better
Yeah.
at that point in time. So sir, but then you come to know that you're Northern Army Commander. Then you go from a different perspective. Of course, Kargil is there. But when you say Northern Command, sir, that includes Valley, sir, includes south of Pir Panjal, 14, 15, 16, sir. As Chief of Staff, obviously, the point of view becomes much, much, much larger, sir. Because you know everything as Chief of Staff, sir. Everything is on fingertips, sir. Along the line of actual control. Because Kargil happened along LOC, sir. That is one part. Now, line of actual control, sir. What do you think were the challenges then and what do you think are the challenges now, sir? क्योंकि उस ज़माने में ना ये बात हमारी किसी और की हुई थी या गलवान की या डोकलाम, all these things hadn't come up, sir, at that point in time, especially गलवान, sir. So, what has changed, sir? आपको क्या लगता है? क्या change हो गया है आपके time से अभी तक?
With China, we had signed, a large number of agreements.
Sir.
Post the Rajiv Gandhi visit in 1988.
Sir.
That we will, and it was decided that we'll keep the boundary question because very complicated and will take time to resolve. So, it was decided that we'll keep the boundary question on one side and continue with the rest of the relations. And it was agreed that we will maintain, peace and tranquility,
yes,
not
sir.
change the status quo on the borders. And for that, a large number of agreements were signed. The 1993, Border Peace and Tranquility Agreement, 1996 Confidence Building Measure, 2005 protocols. And the crux of all these agreements is that, we will maintain peace and tranquility.
Conflict नहीं होनी चाहिए.
Conflict नहीं होनी चाहिए. We will not use force
Yes, sir.
to resolve the, the boundary question. And we will continue with the relations. And once our, our trade, our strategic relations are much better, then we will find some answer to this also. But over a period of time, China has been very assertive on the borders. We had the 2013 incident in Depsang.
Sure, sir.
Just prior to Premier Li Keqiang visit got resolved. Then we had, 2014 Demchok Tumor incident. Then we have 2017 Doklam incident. And then, of course, 2020, we are aware, what has happened. So the challenges earlier were more about, patrolling in those high altitude areas, going up to our claim lines, to stake our claims. And so the challenges were more about, administrative, not so much of, the issues that we have right now.
Sure.
Now what the Chinese did in 2020, what the PLA did, they mobilized a large amount of force and tried to occupy areas which they claimed but had no control. And of course, we did what we did when we mobilized our forces and did the quid pro quo actions and, surprised them actually in a lightning maneuver in all
Sure.
those areas.
Sure, sir.
Got him back to the negotiating table and, made him disengage from all these areas. So now the challenges are that, a lot of infrastructure has come up on both sides. The Chinese have built up a lot of infrastructure. Of course, it is all in the areas which they were controlling since 1962. and our infrastructure also has improved. But the biggest challenge is on both sides, the force levels are, of a much higher level.
Some people call it abnormally high. ऐसा हुआ नहीं कभी.
Yes, because of what the Chinese did, we had to mobilize and actually bring in a large number of forces, because of which, we were able to occupy those areas and do the quid pro quo operations and sort of bring him back to the negotiating table.
Sir.
So that is a challenge now. The trust factor has been lost post what the Chinese PLA did in 2020. So that trust has to be rebuilt, when the relations have to go back to normal. And the onus of that building the trust lies with the Chinese right now, because of, what they did actually.
They broke faith.
They broke the faith, absolutely.
But this is exactly what you're saying, sir. This is also what the foreign minister also said, sir. There is a severe depletion or degradation of trust, for that matter, and this needs to be done, sir. Sir, all these things about, force levels and all, and do you think जिस तरीके से हमने LAC पे करा है, ये लॉन्ग टर्म में अभी तो चाइनीज ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट अ पुल बैक, एंड इन मेनी प्लेसेस दे पुल्ड बैक ऑल्सो, वी ऑल्सो पुल्ड बैक, देयर इज अ म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, आप भी पीछे हटो हम भी पीछे हटते हैं. लेकिन ए क्वेश्चन इज दैट, सर, डू यू थिंक दिस इज सस्टेनेबल in the long run, this kind of, now what the Indian government, we have also been building up infrastructure, sir. ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोग नहीं build कर रहे, we are also, they have geographical advantage also, topographical advantage they have, sir, because Tibet is normally a plain, sir.
Flat.
So they, yes, sir, flat है, पूरा plateau है, sir. So they can have high speed trains running from one end to the other, and if they want to transport troops, they can do it. We have a terrain challenge, sir. We have all seen that part of, I've myself been posted along the line of actual control. It's horribly difficult, sir. Having said that, sir, how sustainable is it? God forbid if a thing should happen again, sir. अभी तो हम पीछे हट रहे हैं, but then वही चीज़ है, keep your powder dry. Do you agree with that, sir? Keep your powder dry, sir.
Yeah, definitely. You have to keep your powder dry always. As a military veteran, as an army veteran, there's no doubt in my mind that you always have to keep your powder dry. Be prepared for any unforeseen, situations. While we are saying that is it sustainable, it is challenging,
Sure.
but it is for both, even for him. While we may say that, it's a flat plateau, but the altitudes are very high.
And he's not used to it, sir.
He's not used to it. The temperatures are very low. So you need specialized equipment, Our troops are very well trained. Almost all our infantry battalions have got tenures in Siachen Glacier. So we are very hardy and we are very experienced in operating in these altitudes. And, vis-a-vis the PLA, definitely. And so while we may say that on his side it's flat, open, he can mobilize faster, move faster, but sustaining troops there, he's facing the same challenges, that we are facing actually. So, it's on similar terms.
And our troops are more adaptable in that?
Troops are much more adaptable. Absolutely.
I'd like to give you an example, sir. I went to the Ladakh Scouts Regimental Center in Leh, sir. So I was shooting with them, sir, this is 4-5 years back, sir. And this is a young recruit. I was just interviewing, जैसे मैं करता था सर, young recruit. I said कि आपको दिक्कत नहीं होती, आप यहाँ पे 11-11.5 हज़ार फुट पे हैं, आपको दिक्कत नहीं होती. Then he said कि सर मेरा जो गांव है वो 14,500-15 हज़ार पे है. So I suddenly got confused कि ये बोल क्या रहा है. Then he said, sir, this is very normal, sir.
So I was the colonel of the regiment of the Ladakh Scouts.
Yes, of
course,
course,
Rifles.
Of course, sir.
And
Ladakh Scouts.
The Ladakh Scouts boys, they are of sort of different material.
Yes, sir.
In the area of Ladakh, because they're born, brought up there.
Sure.
In the area of Ladakh, at high altitudes at 70,000-80,000 feet, they will run up those mountains, where we will not be able to walk 100 meters.
Sure.
But their body structure, composition and the lungs and heart and everything,
yes, sir,
is totally acclimatized to that area.
Sure.
And during, 2020, we used a lot of Ladakh Scout battalions in different areas, and they did an outstanding job. Outstanding.
Sure.
They were moving at a very fast pace and occupying those areas.
Because every single day, sir, like I'm from, my unit is pure Kumaoni, sir. हमारी यूनिट में भी है कि सर when we're in the plains, then they're okay, sir. As soon as they head for the higher reaches of the mountains, suddenly Kumaunis get activated, sir.
Correct.
फिर then there is the smile is wider.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
then
we're running up the mountains like this, sir.
They did an outstanding job in 2020.
Sir. Excellent. So my last question to you is, sir, how do you see this? I'm talking from the perspective of the northern borders, sir, the northern command area. How do you see this, sir? There has been, after the abrogation of 370-35, there has been a relative peace in the valley, relative peace. Minor incidents, lone wolf attacks, that is one piece. We saw 16 Corps area suddenly, singing a different tune. And now even that, touchwood, because of the various force levels that had been moved out, entire uniform force was moved out and other things also. Now it's coming back to normal, and touchwood, we have not heard anything, sir. Where do you think this terrorism thing will go in future, sir? I'm talking from the perspective of 15 Corps and 16 Corps, sir.
Yeah, so, the situation has completely changed. While one odd incident keeps happening,
Yes,
we've
sir.
seen that.
Sir.
And Pakistan, the support that they're giving to, cross-border terrorism,
Sir.
so they can always initiate one odd incident here and there. But overall, if you see in the valley, if you see the indicators, the parameters that we talk about, terrorists killed, terrorists apprehended, terrorists initiated incidents, terrorists committed atrocities, recruitment, all these parameters have gone down drastically. And the positive indicators, the tourism has gone up in such a big way, the infrastructure development that is happening there, the education opportunities that are being provided to the youth there, the engagement with the youth, a big indicator is the Tiranga. You see the Tiranga flying on Lal Chowk, which
Yes, sir.
was unimaginable a couple of years
Abhi hua tha kuch din pehle,
Yes,
sir.
absolutely.
26 January.
Absolutely. And you see the Tiranga flying, and people are realizing the dividends of peace that has come about.
Sir.
So while one odd incident may happen, but things are on the ground have completely changed for the better.
Sir, thank you very much. Honor and privilege. And my team was, when I told them that you're coming, so they said, Achha, because they never met you, and everybody is very, very excited to meet you. I'll request you to take out 2-3 minutes, sir.
Sure.
Meet with my team, so they want to click some photographs with you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the book. It's called Who Dares Win, and this is the story of Lieutenant General. Here it says Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi. I told you, na? Right? If you want to know, ask Joe. याद है ना आपको मूवी देखी थी आपने LOC Kargil? This is the real story, and you'll find the link in the description box. Please order this book, read this book. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll be back again next week with another special guest. Till then, Jai Hind. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind. Thank you, Gaurav. Pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Sir.